Hello everyone, it's Emer here, and today's video is pretty much gonna be something new to my channel, as I'm also introducing myself to the community of this game, as I've never made any video about this ever before. But it's honestly a game that I've been playing since the global launch, and for those who don't know, this game is called The Seven Deadly Sins Origin. It's pretty much a Japanese gacha game, if you can call it like that. And honestly, this is just gonna be small video about how I feel about the game, and it's pretty much gonna be like a really raw review, as I don't have any script or following anything of that sort. I'm just gonna lay out how I feel about the game, and hopefully get some conversation around it. And yeah, with that being said, let's get straight into it. Okay, so here we're in the game, and firstly, I'm gonna talk about the way the draws have been working so far, and honestly how I feel as a free to play player, because I haven't really spent anything on the game. So because of that, I know I can't really like complain a lot in terms of um the order they're giving us of the characters, honestly, right? I haven't spent anything on this game other than probably like really cheap SR weapon that you can get in the shop, but other than that, I haven't spent anything on it. So the way the draw or the pools work is that pretty much you have a PT of 80. It's a 50-50, but you also have a guaranteed um, on the 120th pool. This means that it doesn't matter if you get 5, 1, or 0 before the 80. As long as you hit the 180, you will be able to choose um, pretty much the banner character, right? Just one copy of the character. So as you know, if you've been playing this game for some time, they given us so far two original characters, right? One being this little girl called Daisy, and the other one is named Clotho, but I didn't pull her. So if you've been into this game, you've known that both Daisy and Clotho have been really powerful in terms of what they are. Like, they might not be the best DPS heroes in the game, but they are kind of like the best soft DPS for the main heroes, right? In terms of Clotho, as you know, she currently had like an issue that was fixed, well, a quote unquote issue that was fixed, and pretty much the devs made her stronger by fixing some bugs that were on her kit. So she's now is stronger than she was before. And as far as Daisy goes, she's pretty much just like enables a lot of teams because of the way her whole kit works, right? And honestly, I'm okay with this in terms of they giving kind of like the OC characters the spotlight in a way. Because if you think about it, sorry about that. If you think about it, if you were a free to play player that wants to pull all of the seven deadly sins, right? Like so far, we had only Meliodas, Escanor, and Merlin. If you were a free to play player that would want to pick all of them, it wouldn't be possible, right? Because they don't give us enough currency to pull for all of them. Even if you get the 120 pulls guaranteed character, it's still not nearly enough to be able to pick all of the scenes and in a certain moment the commandments, right? So by then giving us already two original characters, at least me as a free to play player, I've been able to save a lot of fragments, and honestly, I don't really regret not pulling Daisy or Clotho. And why do I say this? Well, it's because the game also gives you a lot of heroes that have been more than enough to be able to pair up with, I guess, your main DPS heroes, right? If you've been playing this game, you know they have given us a lot of free standard banner pools and selector tickets. So that's why I'm able to have like pretty much a lot of the standard banner ones. I think I'm only missing Drake, but I have all of them. I think they might have not been on their best potential or whatever, but I still was able to get them right, and I was only able to focus on Merlin and Esconar because of this by skipping both Daisy and Clotho. Now I know a lot of people don't like this because if you really want to min max your damage, you need these characters, right? You need both Clotho and you need Daisy. Not to mention that they're also looking certain features behind these characters, like Daisy's like potion that she can make and the crafting table discount, right? Like they're looking certain features behind these characters, but in a way of like a business, I kind of understand it. I just wish they didn't do it as like this shameless, you know what I mean? Um, the exclusive skins, I honestly this is just for whales. Free to play players are never gonna pull of this because this is just real money and you don't get the chance. Like these are actually really like insanely predatory, but you get at least one free whenever their banner comes out. So honestly, free to play players always keep on this trash. Never pull unless you really want one, but it's gonna be real money. And yeah, like that's my take on the draws or the gacha of this game. Uh Overall thoughts on this, it's pretty fair, I guess, in the sense of like it's kind of like an average PT rate, which is 80. It still has 50-50, which kind of sucks, but at least the standard banner heroes are really powerful. If you think about it, all of the standard ones are really good, except for Drake. Drake, not that much, but the other ones are really good. And you can get one guaranteed 100 on the 120 pool, but obviously it's just one. So that's my take on the draws and my take on the Clotho and Daisy situation. Next, I will be talking about the way the gearing system works, and I hope you guys can like kind of like understand me, or maybe if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But yeah, let's keep going with the video. Okay, so here we are in the status page for the characters or wherever you keep your gear sets and everything. I'm gonna go through this real quick because I don't want to like over explain everything. But anyways, so the way the gearing system works in Seven Deadly Sins Origins is pretty much you have your weapons and your armor. The weapons have each their own skill set, and as you can see in each weapon, you have your base stats, which is equipment attack, and in this case of this shield is crit damage. However, you can use an enhancement pearl, which is like here. You can just choose it, and it will change the bonuses. So it's obviously a grind until you get perfect bonuses. It's always gonna be a grind because gacha games, right? And a passive that you can upgrade by limit breaking the weapon in case, right? Like here you can see I'm not gonna do it, but as you can see here, the bonuses are changing, and that's how you upgrade your weapons. Each single one of them works the same. And as for your armor, you have your engraving armor, which is this one. You can kind of guess or say that this is kind of like your signature armor for your character. Each character, depending on who it is, can have like 3 armors, some have 4, some have only 2. It really depends on which character it is, but the way they work is pretty much the same. You have your base stats like right here, and here's the grindy thing about the engravings. Engraving bonus. This bonus will change every single time you craft an engraving armor set. Now, they have added certain measures so that you can grind for it. Um, like for example, here you will see that you need this material, and if you confirm it, it will change the bonus of your engraved armor. They have added some methods so that you can craft them. So in the case of that, like you grind a lot, you can always keep crafting these um, Remnants of the Rift and change to change your bonus in your engraving armor sets. They also added this because this helps you with upgrading your quality and upgrading your passive of your um, engraving set. But as you can see, they have weekly crafting limitations. So always a grind and time gated grind, right? Now, as I was explaining, it will always be a grind to get um, the perfect bonuses. They don't want you to get them in just one day. They want you to keep playing and playing and playing so that you can get them, right? And obviously, this is like the normal armor sets that you can get. These come with the base stats that will never change. And in the case of this, an armor set effect. Some will change depending on what it is. Some will have like a passive with no set effect. It honestly depends on what you're looking for and depending on your build. But the accessories are actually gonna be having a RNG stat, which in this case, as you can see here, is the base stat. And this thing called chance based bonus is what's gonna change and but you're pretty much gonna need to grind because if not, you're not gonna get like min maxing your damage. So honestly, the way this works, I already explained. It's not that annoying compared to some other gacha games because it's pretty straightforward, kind of in a way, and you don't really need to spend a lot of resources for it. However, it is heavily time gated, so keep that in mind. And also, the problem with the game is that you have the keys, which are quote unquote your energy for this game. But the problem is that whenever you get, well, what the bosses where you should be able to get your materials for everything are like really expensive right now to do. So if I went and beat this boss called Gallant, it will ask 20 keys to claim just one time the rewards. And as you can see here, I only have 50. So if I claim it two times, uh, I only have 10 keys left for the day, which is honestly nothing. Um, so pretty much you're not over with the game for the day. You can kind of grind other things like the open world bosses for free, but you're mostly done with your gameplay for the day, right? Since they don't really have like a measure that lets you keep regenerating the keys until the daily reset. Um, they do have some things that they give you, like for example, like this, they give you a weekly purchase for free that you can kind of like use to mitigate the situation of like not running out of keys. And sometimes they will give them in events or, you know, in your email, sometimes depending. But honestly, I think the major part of this problem is that the keys system doesn't work that well because unless you're constantly either saving a lot of keys for a certain moment or in the case of like spending a lot of money to keep buying keys, you're not gonna progress until the next day, and that's barely a progress. So the way pretty much the grind works here is not um, like a long grind, but it's just a really time gated grind, right? So it's not like a boring like, oh, I have to do 7 million things a day to keep progressing. No, you run out of things to do really fast because there is not enough energy to do them, and that's a problem. So my main complaint about this game probably it's the way the keys work. Honestly, could be better. I understand that you somehow as a business need to get revenue for the energy system, but it definitely can be better. I think they can definitely do a better work on enhancing the gameplay time of players without having them telling you like, well, you need to come log in daily because if you don't, then you're not gonna progress, right? So that's my main issue with the game, honestly. And lastly, I will just talk about the way the pretty much like the game feels overall, just like the last parting of this video. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so just as the last talking point of the video, I'm pretty much just gonna be like telling you how I feel about the game and my overall thoughts on this. Just if you want to skip the whole rant about them. So how I feel about the game, I think the game is very fun. Honestly, I think that it has a lot of potential into the future as we are only like a couple months into the game. It really has a lot of potential, but they need to make the right decisions for the game. If not, they will probably go end of service, which would be really terrible because we're honestly playing this game because of the IP, right? I don't think a lot of players are going out of their way to play like this game specifically when you have other gacha games. I think we're playing this because of the IP that we enjoy, which is the Seven Deadly Sins. And honestly, I think also the game has like the best multiplayer out there in any gacha game. I even think that the game was made with the purpose of being multiplayer. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, but I think that's honestly the way it was made to be able to be played in multiplayer. I think the multiplayer is the strongest point of the game, and I think they should honestly never let that go. I think they need to make it stronger. I think they need to focus on that a lot to keep the community, online, keep playing, even if the game gets like stale for some time or something like that. Being able to play with other people makes this game like way funnier than it should be. Um, being able to queue with like someone and you help them to get like an abyss clear or maybe a hell clear, or sometimes you're the one that needs the help. They added a raid recently to the game, which I haven't finished because it's actually kind of hard, but they added a raid, and I like the way the game is going, but all of these could be destroyed by really poor decisions by Netmarble, and I hope they don't do them, because it kind of would be like really bad, right? It would be really shit. But yeah, so this is my overall thoughts on the game. The system needs either a rework or we should get like more keys because they run out really fast. Either they discount the bosses or give us more keys or something, because even if we can do the overworld bosses for free now, it's still not enough like gameplay time, at least for me. Now that kind of helps if you're like juggling between games, but I wish I could spend more time in this game, like actually playing the game instead of just like farming the materials in the world. So that's my main take on this game. I like it. I hope they don't make the wrong decisions for it, and I really hope they keep giving us content like New Raid. It's honestly super refreshing. I don't think I've seen a gacha game that has a raid. I think this is the very first one that I've seen. So they should honestly go towards the path of embracing multiplayer more, making everything or at least a lot of things for multiplayer. And I think they will truly make their way into the market of the gacha games. So with that being said, that's gonna be everything for this video. Hope whoever sees enjoys it, and yeah, just like and subscribe, and peace.